All right, Nick. Here we go. You might be just slightly ahead of me. That's what it appears and sounds like. As we also made a rookie mistake on my part and did not turn the light on for the show yet, but I will do that in just a moment, so no worries there. Hopefully, for once and for all, the popping is gone. If it's not, I don't know.
All right, I'm paused at 5 on the 2. You're going to come
7,
in about 8.
6, 5,
All right.
4, 3. The pitch, and it's right down the middle for a strike. Strike number 2. I'm just missing everything under the sun. As I was switching over to the PC, Nick, I did miss maybe the first few innings. I did check out, of course, the old MLB app, so I got an idea.
I got a pretty lengthy box score recap tonight.
All right, good. We got the Harry Potter version.
Yeah, I tried to shorten these, but I mean, there was just
too much to happen.
It was like a lot that happened for nothing, like kind of game, like where it feels like you have to kind of mention it, but it wasn't like actually like stuff that really changed scores or anything. There you go.
Hate for them to swing at ball 4-2, huh? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Swung at ball 4. Probably swinging for the fences. Trying
to kill a rally.
It's probably what he was trying to do. Now that's the swing. That's the swing I'm looking for. Nice little weak ground ball to the opposite side. Come on, Emilio. Out of play. All right. All right. I don't like the fact that we're rolling credits here. I don't like that at all. Whoever the producer is of this game, no feel.
Rolling credits.
Yeah, telling me who the game was produced by,
Oh, like they're like saying it?
No, they're not saying it. They're just putting it on the screen like, like this game is I'm not going to go back and I'm not going to go back and miss that. It was, how they like put those little graphics up. I think that's what it was. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just a little over anxious, but I'm fairly confident it was like,
that's an 0-2 waste pitch.
Probably setting up the breaking ball in the inside corner, Nick, if I had to guess. That's what he was doing there. Just the fastball in the inside corner.
Well, we do have a couple good results tonight so far. Mets lost.
That's good.
The Padres are down 2-0.
I seen they were down 1-0 in the
Manny Machado just got thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double.
I thought you
Brandon fought on the mound for the Diamondbacks.
Nice.
Sit down. Sit down.
Beautiful. How do you swing through that, though? You know, that's crazy, isn't it? 97. I mean, there is that.
A little change of speeds.
Is that what it was? Because I think he threw fastball after fastball after fastball there.
Yeah, he started out with some slower.
That's fair. He threw a change up there. Jake Stamen. Message retracted. Jake, put your message in there if you'd like me to read it. Thanks for the super chat. Come on. There we go. Dude, he's got some life on that fastball tonight. Like, dudes just aren't catching up to it. Knock on wood. It's a good pitch. It's a Reds win. That's a Reds win. You got to win one before you can win two. You got to win one before you can win three. You got to win one before you can win four. And you got to win one before you can win 5 in a row. Okay? Tonight was one. We're going to do a show in just a second.
And a bench to bench. Change in the air to deep right field. Back goes Valenti. And the save. He's done it. Get out of here, baseball. It's gone. Oh, my God. You believe it. Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in force rate. It was a sweep. In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Landa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded. The outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on. Long drive. Right field. And this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the line. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Win. Line into right field. Junior, the first Red ever with 4 home to third. Frazier gloves, throw to first, and Homer Bailey for the second time in his major league career has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, welcome into a winning edition of Chatterbox Reds. I am thankfully back, and Nick, I'm also thankful that you held the fort down as I was away, and I know I missed quite a few things while I was gone. The beautiful Bristol game that wasn't really so beautiful, I guess, after all, and then maybe a little bit of what we would call a meltdown, obviously, the day after what was a rain-delayed suspended game. But that's here nor there because they went to Chicago, Nick. They found a way to win. We'll talk all about it and more, but anything, I guess, as I would always say, you'd like to get off your chest here before we do the box score recap presented by, well, yourself.
Man, what a wild week of Reds baseball. It feels like so much has happened with the Bristol game, the trade deadline, Lodolo going and hitting at 2/3 tonight. It has been quite the season here, Trace.
It's been a roller coaster season the entire year. There's not really been any time this season that's had some sustainability one way or the other. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart. I don't even know if it's really even good for your health, to be frank, to try to follow this baseball team on a daily basis because you think you're out of it. And then they find a way to roar back, and I hope they do roar back. I'd love for nothing more than to find ourselves maybe 2-3 games out of a postseason spot in the next week and a half, and then all of a sudden you play against the Padres coming up. And I said it before, Nick. I'll say it again. If you can hang around 1, 2, maybe maximum 3 games back, and you play the Padres and you find a way to do something crazy, then you're right back in this whole thing. It is funny how a game or a season where there's 162 games, you can hang on to every single one like tonight. I mean, it was back and forth, and you're on one hand you could sit there and say that you deserve to win, and then you were a swing or two away from losing, and that's really what makes this game great, Nick. And yeah, I will get this off my chest before maybe the show goes too far, and I'm going to try to essentially not even really talk about it because perhaps some would view it as too negative. I got a little tired of the talking points tonight. I did. And yeah, I got a little rogue on X about it. I'm just tired of hearing the same narrative over and over and over again, which is just the cliche terms of hitting, hit the ball hard, hit it the other way, put the ball in play. I don't know. Cubs scored 2 runs, Nick. I don't know if you know that. They scored 2 runs. You know what I want you to do? I want you to emphasize how they scored them right now when you get through the box score recap. I'm not saying I want you to tell me everything about it, but when you get to how the Cubs actually scored their baseball runs tonight, I want you to let me know specifically how they did it. Thank you, Nick. Box score recap presented by you.
All right, Reds taking on the Cubs. Game 1 of 3 at Wrigley Field. Game 1 of a 7-game road trip for the Reds. Tyler Stevenson got the Reds off to a great start with a solo bomb to left field in the top of the second that put the Reds up 1-0. Nick Lodolo, who came in on fire, retired the first 5 batters that he faced, but then he had to leave the game with a blister. Nick Martinez came in. Martinez gave the Reds 2 1/3 innings. His only blemish was a 2-run home run that he allowed to Dansby Swanson that put the Cubs up 2-1. If the game couldn't have got any wilder, Cubs starting pitcher Michael Soroka then exited the game after just 2 innings in his Cubs debut with right shoulder discomfort. The Cubs then turned to Ben Brown, who absolutely dominated the Reds in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning. The only base runner that the Reds got off of Brown came via an error. But in the top of the 6th, the Reds caught quite the break. A swinging bunt by Matt McLain, and then a sort of check swing double by Ellie De La Cruz the other way tied the game at 2. Scott Barlow gave the Reds 2 huge scoreless innings. He struck out 4 batters to get the game into the 7th inning tied. Then in the top of the 7th, Jake Fraley smoked a double at 105 off the bat with 2 outs. Then after an infield single by Ke'Bryan Hayes, TJ Friedl singled off a lefty to put the Reds up 3-2. Then in the bottom of the 7th, Graham Ashcraft came in. He gave up a leadoff single, and it looked like that runner was going to come around to score with 2 outs when Dansby Swanson hit a slow roller to Ke'Bryan Hayes. The 2-time reigning NL Gold Glover Hayes made an incredible play, but Swanson was called safe at first base. However, replay showed Swanson missed the bag, and the incredible effort from Hayes was rewarded, and the Reds kept a 3-2 lead. After former Red Taylor Rogers struck out 2 batters in a perfect top of the 8th, Tony Santillan threw a scoreless bottom of the 8th, working around a hit by pitch, and then Emilio Pagan a 1-2-3 ninth. Reds hang on for a wild 3-2 win over the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Reds improved to 59-54 on the season.
All right, we got the Jeep drive of the day. It came off the bat of Tyler Stevenson. Shout out to Tyler Stevenson. It's his 9th home run of the year. 103 off the bat, and you believe I know it's hard to believe, but he did get it out of Wrigley Field tonight. It was a 25-degree launch, 103 mile an hour, 389-foot blast. It would give the Reds a 1-0 lead. At the time, it was a win probability of 57%. As we all know, it would wind up being 100% DSE. They are a leader in renewable commodities, specializing in biofuel production, used cooking oil, collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Nick's smiling because I just went completely rogue off the dome with that DSC ad because I got a new computer. And you know what we forgot to put on this new computer? We forgot to put the exact perfect ad read. So you know what, Nick? As you laugh,
I could say that one in my sleep. I think I do say that.
Please do it. Let it rip.
My kids walk down.
Please. Let's hear it.
The Deep Drive of the Day, proudly sponsored by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production. They specialize in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales.
You got
Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks to our friends at DSC.
You're a pro. I mean, I got to give it. You're a pro. You lead from the front, and that's a big deal from you. We got some super chats before we jump into what is ultimately going to be the start of this show here. RDPD8XB. I don't know if they just automatically generated that for you, but shout out to you and your username. He says, we need this series to have a chance. LFG ATOBTTR. For those that don't know, that means, and this one belongs to the Reds. Member for 13 months is our main man, Colin Will. He says, huge win. Let's make this a good week for the Red Legs and keep ourselves alive for the postseason. ATOBTTR. If you don't know what that means, and this one belongs to the Reds. Jacob Doyle has to be. YouTube cut his name off, but it says, needed that one. Let's hope Lodolo can figure this out. And Nate Seltzer says, choke. I get it. He said, choke, Cubs, choke. What a joke. Hey, Chicago, shed your tears. Same result in a different year. It's not bad luck. The Cubs just suck. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Blowing games since 1908. Shout out to Nate Seltzer.
Wow.
Cubs did win a World Series in my lifetime. So, I'm not going to sit here and beat the drum of the 1908 thing all too often because I gotta tell you, if you don't think I've thought about that for my own life, I'd be lying. So we'll see.
It's got an asterisk because of that rain delay. I mean,
yeah, I'll take some asterisks then. Whatever it takes.
I'll take about 7 asterisks.
I'll take whatever asterisks it takes. We'll see. Nick Gettle. I don't know. I don't know if I want to say the last thing because it seems like maybe that's some provocative language there in the name. Perhaps it's not. I don't know. Regardless, member for 14 months, Nutcutter Nation. Thank you, Nick. He says, here's to another Cubs meltdown. Hey, listen, Suzuki's meltdown in right field was an all-time moment in Chatterbox Reds, and it wasn't even about the Reds playing them either. So Still vividly remember that moment when Craig and I were watching that baseball game right when the Reds game ended, and our main man just completely whiffed on a fly ball.
I remember driving down the highway, listening to the Cubs radio. I mean, like punching air, like so excited, running off the road.
Right. Yeah, no, it was tough. Final things here before we jump to the show. Listen, I got to tell you, I apologize, Nick. I was out and about. The acoustics down here are a little tough. I'm getting like some kind of reverb, and for whatever reason, I think it's coming off of this. I don't know what that is, but it's just really tough. The thing is that it's really hard to hear. It's really hard to hear when this is in front of you because it's just the words bounce right off of it and it comes right back into the thing. Now, the thing is that still has to, that's what they call back-to-back champs, but who's counting? So, my apologies for being gone, but I did come home a winner, so I'm proud about that. But I do know this. Reds find a way to win a game, Nick, that they easily could have lost. And you have to probably start, in my opinion, without a doubt, the fact that Lodolo goes down, and you already have had this narrative for how long that is, the Reds bullpen is spent. How many more times can they find a way to do this? Yada, yada, yada. They go out and get Littell to probably help bolster their bullpen. They say it because they put Martinez in the bullpen, and that helped. That in their mind, that's the best thing they could have done to help the bullpen that they needed to help. Tonight, I guess, showcased that to a certain extent. Not only did Martinez help, but Barlow. I don't know what else you can say about this dude. I mean, as much as I always want to give like all these guys maybe the MVP award from time to time, Santillan still belongs at the very, very top in my opinion. I think Pagan's not far from behind, but I mean Barlow might be the leader in the clubhouse at this point. I don't know. Your thoughts on that, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I think Santillan and Barlow are just like 1A, 1B. I mean, what they've done this year, I mean, they have been straight running to the ground. They have picked up all the slack in the bullpen. And, I mean, what Barlow did today, just incredible. He pitched yesterday, too. I mean, gave up a home run in the Speedway Classic, but bounced back. Just 2 huge innings to kind of stabilize the game. And, shout out to Graham Ashcraft today, too. He gave up that leadoff single. I mean, if it's nice that Ashcraft finally caught a break. Because he really, like, the leadoff single was hard hit, but then he made good pitches. The rest made a great pitch to Dansby Swanson that resulted in that ground ball. Ashcraft deserved to have a little bit of good luck, and he finally got that back. And, this was just an incredible effort from the bullpen. A lot of pressure on Littell now in his Reds debut on Tuesday to give this team some length because, I don't know where you go. I guess I saw a lot of people talking about, Nick Martinez. Why did he only go 2 1/3? I don't know. I have to trust that they know Nick Martinez and kind of the way that he's been preparing for a bullpen role, and they kind of felt that was all they could get out of him. Like, I'm not going to – I don't like to question things that I just don't know. I don't have all the information to it. We don't know all the information as to how many bullpens did Nick Martinez throw to kind of prepare for his bullpen role? What has he been doing to adjust? What is the Reds' plan for him in the bullpen role? So without knowing that information, I'm not going to second guess them not bringing him out more. And in fact, it actually worked out well the way that Tito managed the bullpen tonight.
Yeah, the bullpen's probably the hardest thing to critique, right, in general, because you don't really know what the status is of really anybody. I mean, yeah, we can sit here and act like, well, this guy hasn't thrown in, 2 days, so he should be available. But, yeah, you just never know. I mean, maybe they have some lingering thing, and the managers are never going to be forthright with that because they might have to make sure that they can mask whatever matchups the next day that they might run into that, you're not going to go and tell the opposing manager that, hey, my lefty, one of my 2 lefties in the bullpen has some shoulder issue, and that's why we're deciding not to use him. But, yeah, I don't know what you make of Martinez totally, but I'm not going to make anything of it because ultimately I think that the gripe, if there is one with this baseball team, continues to lie in one area. And we won. We won 3-2, so no one's going to really talk about it. But once again, this baseball team, it's going to go only as far as we're capable of scoring runs. And I'm hopeful that we find a way to be the same team we've been all year. But now that I mean, I don't know if we talk about Lodolo now or if you want to talk about him later. If he's on the back half, you kind of tell me where you want to go with this. But
there is no back half. We're doing one today.
So here's my thing. Like it's like we've been skating on thin ice, right? All year here when you have the likes of whether you want to go all the way back to Williamson, whether you want to say it's Rhett Lauder, whether now I guess Nick Lodolo, when you go to Hunter Green, like the starting pitching has been phenomenal based off of the situational circumstances that has happened to them. And Lodolo's blister is nothing new. I don't want to sit here and cry wolf about this thing because this is part of it. This is part of the DNA of who we are. We have certain guys that have some injury-prone history, and we can't cry wolf when this comes to be. I hope that it's short-lived. I hope that it doesn't, rear its ugly head multiple times. But it feels like now at this point, we're going to have to probably always have in the back of our mind that there's a couple guys on this team that probably just aren't going to be able to go all year without something arising, right? And unfortunately for us, it's quite a bit of people. But we'll see. You're right. I mean, Littell, is that how you say his name for sure? I'm assuming. I know we're bad at pronouncing.
We've been a lot of discourse on this. Baseball Reference says LAH-TELL.
Okay,
so
Littell.
I would say Littell.
Right. So we don't know. Who knows? We don't. We've said Robert for 5 years. It turns out it's Robert. I mean, it looks like Robert. We said Robert. Who gives a rat's tail it anymore? What the hell people's names are? My point at the end of the day is going to stand. This team's only going to go as far as what their offense is capable of probably rallying. They need to be better. And they can be. Tyler Stevenson's a big part of that. I think that he's one of the few guys that I would say I know for a fact he is better than what he's been. And it's time to kind of start a step back into the role of what he has showcased himself to be before. And there's others on this team that are very much like that. I guess we'll start with Stevenson. He's got a big swing tonight. Your thoughts kind of on him? And to be fair to me, I did not see much of the games over the weekend, so I can't really speak on the way these guys have looked for the past, call it 4 days. But you're going to need Stevenson, and you're going to need, who you need really the most is probably Matt McLean and Spencer Steer to elevate themselves to 2023 versions.
Yeah. Matt McLean's played very good for 2 months. I've been talking about that. He had a great series against the Braves today. I mean, he was fortunate, but he's played really well. The Reds only had 7 hard hit balls in this game, and 3 of them were off the bat of Tyler Stevenson. So it wasn't just the home run. He had some good swings all night. This was not a good night at all from the Reds offense. I like pointing this out when they win because I feel like people, actually take more credence when you use the hard hit numbers versus not. But yeah, I mean, the Reds had a 175 expected batting average. Like, they did not have a good night tonight. Now, I mean, I don't know. In some ways, it's almost like, like when you're facing a guy like Ben Brown who has that, is it a knuckle curve? Is that what he throws? Was that what the Reds were having a hard time with? Whatever his knuckle curve that he was throwing, the Reds just could not lay off of it. There was a lot of them out of the zone that they were swinging at. Now, if they had maybe been prepared for Ben Brown, he is a starting pitcher, maybe they have a different plan, but on the fly, it's maybe a little bit tougher. Maybe that's a little too easy on him, but yeah, I mean, this was not a good night at all from this offense. And, it's just, you look at how many right-handed batters they have in the lineup, I mean, like you have Friedel and McLean, and then, Lux is, but I mean, there's just a lot of right-handed batters in the lineup that are going to make some of these pitchers like Ben Brown kind of have a little bit more of an easier time. So I don't know. It was not a good night for the offense, but Tyler Stevenson swung the bat really well. Man, he's a guy that you're hoping could go on. And what? Tyler Stevenson does have a 736 OPS. So he's not been great, but he hasn't been terrible either. Stevenson passed Lux. And I mean, think of how good Lux was early in the year and how bad Stevenson was for times. He's now ahead of him.
Yeah, and I also want to make it very clear, like, it's not that the Reds didn't deserve to win this game because their offense struggled, right? You look at the game, I just went and checked just to make sure that my eyes were telling the truth. The Cubs' expected batting average in this game was 188. The Reds was 175.
Yeah, the Reds outpitched the Cubs.
They just
no
outpitched
question
them,
about it.
No doubt. Yeah. So to be very clear, I don't want people to listen to this and think that I'm just basically suggesting that the Reds didn't deserve to win. I'm just more or less saying, like, when I look at the overall outlook for the rest of the season, I'm just wishing upon maybe a shooting star, or maybe I'm just wishing for some of these guys to come back to the best version of themselves, whatever you want to call it. I just know that we've got to find a way to start producing more runs consistently, or else it feels like the dam's going to break with this bullpen. And maybe it won't. Like, to round out the final point with the bullpen, it just felt like tonight was going to be one of those nights you blow it and everyone's going to be pissed off at Santillan and or Pagan, and then all of a sudden you kind of have to be like, well, how many times can these guys continue to do this before you realize that you just need to probably get some insurance runs, or make it to where you're not relying on these guys to hold down the fort in a one-run game time after time. So we'll see. It's a little alarming, but you know, you move on and you keep it moving. And I haven't really been on this show since the deadline, so you know, I know that there was a bunch of kind of discourse about the Reds and the moves they made and whether or not they did enough or didn't do enough. That ship has kind of sailed, so I don't want to really rehash those subjects. But you know, the truth of the matter is that we got who we got, and as I just read in the chat, our man Ke'Bryan Hayes, he is doing an excellent job at the swinging bunt, which I like that in the chat. That was funny. He has an uncanny ability to have a swinging bunt, and you know what? I love the fact that when Pirates Twitter is absolutely pissed off because they can't believe that this guy is hitting home runs to left field. So turns out sometimes it always works out in your favor if you get some deadline edition that's not played well in his old town deck.
I'm drinking the Ke'Bryan Hayes Kool-Aid. I'm drinking it. I see the vision. I see the vision, and it might not work out with him, but the more that you just watch him play defense, and you know, he swung the bat well. And again, I don't think it's not going to stay. I would bet a lot of money that he's not an above average hitter for the Reds, but I see the potential for him to turn into a 3-4 win player. I don't think you have to squint that hard. And I mean, he could be an absolute steal. So I love them rolling the dice on a player like him. The more I watch, and that play that he made, I mean, he made it look so easy. Like, I think he almost made it look so easy that people are like, oh, that wasn't really that great of a play. But I don't remember seeing a third baseman kind of make that play where they're like almost going down the line and then throwing across their body. It was just an unbelievable play. And you're going to see a lot of that from him. You're going to see plays that you're just like, man, like I've never really seen a Reds third baseman make those type of plays. So I don't know. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, at first, to be clear about that play specifically, it was a major play in the game. I think at first I was like, man, the Reds caught a fortunate break, which they did. The Reds got lucky that Dansby Swanson was more concerned about, you know, basically trying to beat the throw and look up at the umpire and make the safe call than he was just running directly through the bag. So they were fortunate there. But the part that they're not unfortunate about is that they did go out and get, you know, an elite level glove at third base that made that even possible. I mean, if he bobbles that ball or doesn't field it cleanly, right, it doesn't matter because ultimately, you know, Dansby Swanson was able to drag his toe on the back end of that. He would have been safe. And you kind of shake your head and you think to yourself, Ashcraft once again has found a way to give up a run. But nobody's talking about Ashcraft on a night like tonight because, you know, Ke'Bryan Hayes went out and made a play that probably the vast majority of third basemen in this league don't make. Maybe all of them. I don't know. I'm not going to, you know, sit here and say that nobody could have made that play, but you get the gist of the point. The whole goal of this organization should be to continue to find value in the margins of every opportunity that exists. So before we jump any farther, I would just openly say, like, when we get on the show and we talk about, hey, this guy's probably playing over his head, see what kind of value you can get, et cetera, like, that's all we're discussing. And I don't want to make it like a gotcha thing. I'm not even saying that just because Nick Lodolo got hurt, like, that makes us right, because it's like, but this is so obvious, right? Like, these things aren't shocking. They shouldn't be shocking to us that now Lodolo is going to fight this blister problem. This is kind of who he is. And he can be unbelievable for stretches of time, but are we going to be able to trust the fact that Nick Lodolo is going to be ready to pitch in October when you need him the most? I don't know. I would just say at best, that's a risky proposition. Like it's hard for me to envision something that can say you should really pour your full trust into something like that. We'll see how it all pans out, Nick, but those are the things that I hope this organization continues to do with Ke'Bryan Hayes, and I hope they do it on the opposite version as well. Don't just buy low on players. You start selling high on players too. And that is what a good broker does. That's what any good investor does. They buy low on items they think that there's probably value there that someone else isn't appreciating, if you want to think of it that way. And then you sell on things that everybody feels like you just can't go without. This guy's. Did you see the way that Ohtani looked when he pitched against him? Nick Lodolo has been unbelievable, but he's also had this part of it. And unfortunately, we're not able to shake it. We'll see. Maybe it's just going to be one start, Nick. I don't know if anything's come out yet on what that timetable is going to look like. My guess is it hasn't. But it's just an unfortunate thing that continues to happen. It's not even Lodolo's fault. Like, it's not anyone's fault. It's just part of it, though,
There's nothing you can do about a blister problem. It's not like a conditioning thing. Like, what do you do? Like, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, anyone that was banking on whether you wanted the Reds to buy, sell, whatever, if you were banking on Nick Lodolo pitching deep into the season, I just don't think that was wise, because he's at a career high in innings. He's had these other recurring issues on top of that. Those are like two separate things. The whole never pitched this deep into the season, and also has kind of had these other recurring injuries. So Hunter Green, I guess, can come back this weekend. He made his second rehab start, went 3 innings. I think through almost 50 pitches, maybe a little more. I can't remember exactly on Sunday. So he could, in theory, take Lodolo's spot in the rotation if needed. You hope that's not the case because, man, you really could. Like, if you get Green back and you do have Lodolo, even if it's not forever Lodolo, I mean, that's a really, really good rotation. And maybe you move Chase Burns into some sort of bullpen role. I mean, you don't have to squint to see how dominant he could be in short spurts. So it's not like one of those things that would bury you, but it was potentially one of these things that the Reds could have be a huge advantage for them, and that could just be an extra thing that they could, just steal some more outs with and be a little creative with their bullpen. So I don't know. It's hard to predict whether Lodolo misses time or not. We'll just have to kind of wait and see.
All right. Well, don't know what the biggest storyline is with this baseball team. It's hard to find it. It's hard to tell. Sometimes it's the bullpen.
Survive in advance every day. I mean, it's survive. That's the storyline.
Yeah, and it feels like some weeks they're capable of, making a run at this thing, and then you find a way to lose to the Braves, right? Like and I know everybody gets upset. I don't know how you feel about this, Nick, and it's old news now, but obviously I was on the show, but everyone wants to complain about the fact that Chase Burns only went 1 inning, and you blew him, you didn't get a chance to pitch him. Like, I don't know if we know, but I mean, Strider, we didn't have faced him, and we were also facing a pretty piss poor bullpen the next day.
Ozuna didn't play. Ross and Riley got taken out in the second inning. Yeah, I said this. The Reds got a huge advantage in the game on Sunday. I mean, you couldn't have. I mean, you were playing almost like a Colorado Rockies level team. Maybe worse. I mean, that was just not a good team. And I mean, yes, it's baseball. Every game's different. I mean, you have a college baseball team face an MLB team 100 times. They're going to win once or twice.
Right.
Like it's a tough game, but man, it's just it's just one of those games on Sunday. It's like, God, you got to find a way to win that kind of game. But you know what? This team, watch them go out and sweep the Cubs just because
that's what they do.
There's no rhyme or reason to when this team plays good or not. It is the most confusing team I've ever. I don't know. Maybe I'm hyperbole on this. Maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment. Man, it feels like a team that's just the most crapshoot on any given night that I can ever remember.
No, I think it's more than fair to say that about this baseball team. All All right, jumping into, I guess, the offense as a whole. I know people are upset at me because I come in here on a one-run win, and I bring up the fact that I'm just disappointed, I guess, for lack of a better term, and people are going to hate me for that and think that I'm a complainer and whiner. That's fine. You know, if we're just going to sit here and basically say, let the score of the game dictate how we feel about all aspects of our baseball team, then I would just suggest that's just a pretty naive way to go about fandom. I'm happy the Reds won, thrilled to death about it. But I am also like very, very, very concerned, Nick, that we've just completely not gotten production like we need to get behind Elly De La Cruz. Am I talk me off the ledge, if you will, or maybe confirm my beliefs about what you think about this offense?
They're not bad. Like they're a competitive offense, but there's just, you look up and down this lineup, there's just not upside. Like that's the problem. Like there's some players that I like individually what they're doing. I think TJ Friedel's had a really great season. I think he was like 10th in Major League Baseball and on base percentage, or maybe just the NL. Like he's really high up there. So he's done very well in his leadoff role. Matt McLain, like I've mentioned, has played well for a couple months. Elly is Elly, but you know, Hayes has fallen off. Lux has fallen off. Steer's been off the whole year outside of a couple weeks. Tyler Stevenson's playing well. Jake Fraley's, but it's just like, who's carrying this offense other than Elly? Like it feels like it's all on Elly's shoulders, and that's the hard part of this. They do play really good defense though, and you know what? Defense isn't sexy. It doesn't, you know, feel as big, but I mean, Matt McLain turned a really nice made a really nice play in this game as well. And I mean, you can pitch and play defense and win a lot of games. It's just, I don't know, the upside of it. I just want more upside with the lineup.
Do you think that there's any concern with Hayes? I mean, is this just a like kind of a part of the ebbs and flows, or do you think that there's,
I mean, I against right-handed pitching, he doesn't have good numbers this year, and that's over the course of his career. He's made a living mashing lefties, and this year's probably been a little bit more extreme than what you would kind of project with him. Like I think he'd probably be a little bit better against right-handed pitching and not as elite against left-handed pitching. But yeah, I mean, he's really in there to be the protection for Elly when you bring in a lefty, and he's done that really well this year. It just, and I feel like I've said this like 100 times, so I apologize. It just feels like there's a lot of players that aren't a problem on this offense, but there's only one that's a solution, and it's Elly De La Cruz. No one's a solution. Right. Like no one's gonna be a guy that's gonna put this team on their back. Maybe Tyler Stevenson. I can squint and say I've seen him get really hot. But there's just, you know, you look at the Cubs, like you have Kyle Tucker and Suzuki and even like Ian Happ, like those, and Matt Shaw and Michael Bush, like those guys can like actually legitimately kind of carry an offense. It just doesn't feel like the Reds have enough of those guys.
And I was going to bring up kind of this as well with I guess the offense at the deadline and the decisions that were made. I almost wonder, like they're never going to say this publicly, but I do almost wonder if Nick Krall and the gang kind of looked at where they were at and just thought to themselves, there was nothing that they could do that was going to allow them to feel significantly different than the way they already do. And maybe that's me just being, you know, being a little too nice in regards to trying to give them an out on why they didn't go and make a move or two moves to probably bolster this offense. And I know that you're going to sit here and say they added, you know, a piece that mashes, you know, left-handed pitching, and that's fine. I'm not saying that piece doesn't mean anything at all, but the reality is that's not an everyday player, and I don't know if you can find an everyday player that's going to help us enough to get this offense into a spot. What's going to happen, without question, is you're going to have to have some guys that rally back, and Tyler Stevenson's probably the biggest one, right? I mean, he was the one that has the biggest probability to improve. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and he did it in the second half last year. So it's not something that's never happened before.
So
maybe Jake Fraley. You know, I'll honestly say, like, I'm not this guy. Should Jake Fraley be higher in the lineup than 8th? With kind of the options the Reds are should maybe like swap him and Lux.
I don't know. I'm gonna be a funny guy and say that lineups don't matter right now because I think that would be a really good time.
I respect that.
That'd be a really good time to throw that in on you, but I don't know. I've given up on the lineup, largely because it just feels like you're gonna get the same type of lineup every day, and that's I have come to a point in the season where my beliefs that I have are so strong that seem like they're completely the opposite of what the belief system is that obviously manages this baseball team, that you just kind of subside and you give up and you say, okay, well, this just is the way that it is, right? And the Reds won 3-2. And if I do this tonight, people are going to hate me for it, so I'm not going to do it. But I guess I'll wait on a night where everyone else is pissed off and I'll just say how I feel already anyways. But, I'll talk till I'm blue in the face, but until we find a way to get a guy that plays first base, and hopefully Spencer Steer can pick it up, and I know that he had a big swing right in Great American Ballpark last week. We need him. We need Spencer Steer, man. I need him to come back and be an above-average hitter and provide some power the rest of the year. And if he can do that, then I have hope. I genuinely have hope. But it seems like, for whatever reason, Nick, I have this pessimistic feeling as soon as we get past Ellie. I really do. It's like you get past Ellie and you start looking down the lineup and you're thinking to yourself, well, where is this potential for, a double going to come from? And you know what? Jake Fraley provided that tonight. No one's going to bring that up. But if Jake Fraley singles tonight, do the Reds score?
Well, yeah, because TJ Friedl singled. Brian Hayes had a
maybe
single. But no, I get your point.
Maybe.
No, that was a huge hit from him. And Fraley has played really well.
You think Fraley scores on PCA?
With 2 outs?
I don't. I'm just saying. It's just not a foregone conclusion.
I would hope so.
I don't know. Not a foregone conclusion, but maybe so. To be fair to you, maybe so. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
No, but I got what you're saying. I was being a jerk back. No, Fraley had a huge hit. And Fraley's played really well for a couple months. Fraley's not a problem. I
don't know if anyone's a problem, right? Isn't that the problem with this team?
Gavin Lux is trending towards a problem.
But he's replaceable in a way. I don't think
it's so disappointing.
I feel like Lux is replaceable, right? If you were to tell me that Ellie was going to be, career worst from here on out, that's irreplaceable. You can't justify taking him out of the lineup. I think you can get to the point where you can justify Gavin Lux.
The thing that just sucks about Lux is just when he's this cold, other players will get this cold, but when they'll actually have a chance to get hot and really play well for when Lux gets hot, it's like he has a 380 on base percentage with might hit 2 home runs in a month. There's just you're not riding through the slumps for a big return back where he can carry the team. Yeah, I don't know. I was really high on him. I thought he had some real potential to, be a guy that maybe would increase a little bit of power coming off that injury, playing in a hitter-friendly ballpark. And I've really waned on him as the season's gone on, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope that there's something left in the tank, but man, I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not seeing the value in him right now as a guy that provides no defensive value. That's a platoon player that can't hit home runs. I mean, it's really hard to see the value in him right now.
It's fair. I mean, especially when you factor in the fact that he just doesn't, defensively probably cut it at all in left field, obviously. But the beautiful thing is that we can sit here and we can discuss how unfortunate or disappointing we can be in the way this offense appears and looks time after time after time. And yet they found a way to beat a really good baseball team. I mean, you can cut it, slice it however you'd like. The Chicago Cubs are a damn good team, man. And they went in there and they had a very unfortunate event where their starting pitcher had to leave after what was it, an inning and 2/3, I think.
Probably their biggest trade deadline acquisition.
Yeah. And they found a way to win. I mean, I don't know how much more you can get optimistic than that, is that when things didn't go well, they still find ways to win. So they find a way to beat good teams. Last thing I'll say before we jump into the 988 and the Super Chats and we jump into MILB, I guess, is an overall perspective of the big league club. What do you make of this growing identity that seems to be that they play to the level of their competition?
I think most of it's just a weird baseball thing. Okay. I don't think I really don't think they went into Atlanta and overlooked them. I don't. I think Tito does a good job of that. Now I will say if this would have been a David Bell team, it would be all on David Bell. But I don't think either one of them would deserve it, really, because I don't know. I don't think that in baseball. I don't really think you play to your. It's just, I think in baseball, everyone knows like every team is capable of beating you on any given night. It's not like I feel like that narrative might play a little better in like the NFL or the NBA, where like, you know, like the best team in the NBA isn't going to lose to the worst team in the NBA unless something goes horribly wrong. Same thing in the NFL. Whereas in baseball, like the Dodgers will lose to the Rockies a couple times every year. It's just like it's baked into it. So I don't know. I don't really buy that narrative all that much, but it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, you lose a series to the Braves, you lose a series to the Nationals, and you know those somehow, some way turn into a sweep against the Rays, and now they win the game one against the Chicago Cubs. And I'm not saying the Rays are as quality as the Cubs, but I would venture to say the Rays at the time were a much better baseball team than the Nationals. But as you said, I mean, you're not wrong. Baseball is baseball. All right, as always, please remember you can text or call 988 day or night. It's okay to not be okay. You can also visit mantherapy.org, a very good resource to get help on a variety of topics that you may or may not need. So just keep it, as I said before, in the back of your mind, and you can always check on loved ones if they're going through a rough time or something has happened in their life. You never know what a lending hand can do for somebody. So be a good person, help people out, and if you're finding yourself in a spot where you need some help, you can always rely on 988 for your needs. Super Chats, let's do them. Jumping right into them right now, and we have plenty of them. Optimistic Reds fan says, Nick, how long can they hold off Stewart?
I think he's going to have to be an injury. I mean, unless there's an injury, I think it's an injury, or he gets called up maybe when the rosters expand. That would be my guess. He hasn't played first base, but they're not going to remove Steer from first base. Like, you can want them to, you can say they should. It's not going to happen. They're not going to take him off of first base. So again, I think Matt McLain's played well enough that I get, this is the kind of the funny thing. Like I'm the prospect guy, but I don't think that if I had to bet who would have the higher wins above replacement if I played Sal Stewart every day at second base versus Matt McLain at second base from now to the end of the year, I would bet everything I have on Matt McLain. Like, I think Matt McLain is most likely going to be better. So that's that. And then they're not going to stop playing Ke'Bryan Hayes every day unless Ke'Bryan was just, goes on like an 0-for-30 streak or so. Like, I think you'd have to be that level of attrition, and he's certainly played well enough. So I don't see Sal Stewart coming up anytime soon unless there's an injury.
Fair.
Would you do anything different? No. I mean,
well, it's not even would I do anything different. First of all, I don't want to be, as I said before, I really hate when we bring up, we've done it to Ellie, and somehow he has had success. I kind of am tired of this franchise always being in a position where these young guys have to come in and be the heroes. Like, I'd like to kind of sneak them through the back door a little bit, let them get their feet wet, put them in some games here and there. We're not relying on them to be the guy that's going to come in and provide some pop and some power. We've done that really with all of these young guys. Every single one of them that we brought up, they were supposed to be, the one that got us across the finish line, if you want to say. And CES has struggled. Matt McLean came out red hot, and he has unfortunately regressed a little bit based off the fact that he missed a year from injury. And hopefully, if anything, the first half of this year was just rust from the fact that he hadn't played in so long, that maybe the back half and when, call it the last 2 months of him playing significantly better than he did in the first few months, maybe that's a sign of improvement. MiLB Marte came up, and again, it's just like we put, and again, I don't think that they feel the pressure. I think they feel the pressure because they want to play in Major League Baseball, Nick. They when you stack up the pressure that players feel, I don't think the fans' feelings for them, for lack of a better term, outweighs their own desires to play the game well and their own desires to try to make a name for themselves on the big league club. But having said that, I just don't like the idea of sticking Sal Stewart at first base because, in my opinion, that's a clear indication of when you play first base, you know what your role is, right? If you get stuck at the 3, 4, and 5 hole in a lineup, what do you think that team wants you to do? It's pretty obvious what they want you to do. I just don't think that's a recipe for success.
And let's be clear too. Sal Stewart's never played first base in his professional career either.
Yeah, and it seems like they value defense now. Although sometimes it doesn't seem that way when they put Lux in left field. Regardless, there's times where I'd like to think that's what they value. So Spencer Steer's not going anywhere. Could you convince me that Sal Stewart would outslug Spencer Steer from now until the end of the year? I don't know. I think it's a fair debate to be had, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's a wasted effort, wasted time, because Spencer Steer's not going anywhere. He's played too well defensively at first base, and for whatever reason, they love Spencer Steer because they put him on the opening day roster when he had a clear injury, in my opinion, and they just suffered through it while he was getting healthy. So, fair. Moving on. We have Andrew Scobie says, "Go Reds! What a big play by Hayes at third." Also, shout out to Hamilton LL. That is Hamilton Little League. Moving on to the regional championship, bring home a Little League World Series title in case the Reds can't do it. Good luck to them. So, yeah, that's a big thing in this town. Is good old Hamilton Little League. So we'll see if they're capable of winning. I think they're one game away now. They got to win in the championship game to get to the Little League World Series. Putrid Talent. Thank you for becoming a member of Nutcutter Nation. Thank you, Putrid. You've been a long time loyal supporter of our channel, so thank you. Lordia Chaman said, "I would love a Nick Kirby solo show about the Reds." What do you think, Nick? Nick, you think you can do that?
Well, go into your search bar in Chatterbox Sports. Type in Reds trade for Connor Joe. I did a solo one for that.
Beautiful.
I did do a pregame show solo earlier in the year on a day game. So yeah, I don't know. You'll see a little bit. I mean, I like doing it with someone else. I like kind of bouncing ideas off. But yeah, I might do some more solo content. I'm getting a little more confident. That was something like when I started. Like, I do not want to ever do anything solo. Now I just feel like I can turn on the camera and just talk, and it's just such a fabric of your being at this point that it doesn't.
You're growing.
It doesn't feel weird anymore. Like I'll tell you this. Like so like we did that live show. Great show at Smoke Justice. I like the first time we did live shows. Like I was really nervous. I'll be completely honest. Like. I'm just like, I'm like, whatever. Like I'm so plastered all over the internet at this point. Like it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, no, I love that. You're getting love. You're getting love in the comments, and you know what? That's good for you. More times than not, if the Reds aren't playing well, you know what my favorite thing about this show is? My favorite thing is that when the Reds are playing well, people hate me. When the Reds aren't playing well and they're not playing, maybe they're not winning some baseball games, boy, they hate you. But They hate one of us, but they love the other. And that's the thing that matters the most, is it doesn't matter whether you love us or you hate us. I don't give a damn what it is. If you watch the show, I love you. You see how that works? I love you no matter what. So I ain't worried about it. But I do, hey, Nick Kirby, solo show. We'll get it on the books. He doesn't work hard enough as is. We'll make him do some more shows. Putrid Talent says, can never have too much starting pitching, said famously by Nick Kirby. Grats on the win, Trace. Thank you. Also, justice for Benson, but Fraley came through. Fraley did come through. I mean, listen, the Will Benson thing, I'm not going into that. I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. Okay? Reds won 3-2. I already get enough hate mail for my my appreciation for Will Benson, I guess. I know this. I'll say one thing about it, and I'm moving on.
I knew you couldn't.
I just want everybody to know. I want everybody to know, okay, that the truth of the matter is, if it weren't for him, this team would have been sellers, and if it weren't for him, this team would have lost the series to the Colorado Rockies, the Washington Nationals, and also the Atlanta Braves. All within...
Swept by the Atlanta Braves.
All swept by the Atlanta Braves. All within, mind you, I think, a 4-week span. My math could be wrong on that, but I'm fairly confident that would be the case. So, that's all I got. Told you. That's all I need to say. Aquila the Great says, can we theorize why Tito... Golly, where are we doing this? Reds win 3-2, Super Chatters. Reds win 3-2. Okay? You're making me read these. Reds win 3-2. And Aquila the Great says...
You gotta pay for negativity around here.
Golly day. Can we theorize why Tito hates Benson? Just tuned in, but the way he talks about him is pretty crazy after the impact and improvement he's made. Yes, that's for another show. Not tonight. And Quilla the Great, you are great. I don't know. Okay? I don't know. I don't know. Don't know exactly why. I'm not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. I don't know. Michael Roth, 6006. I wonder if that's the same Michael Roth, YouTube. Said, just arrived. 1, Sal Stewart's contract prevents him from arriving before September 1st. 2, the Cubs stink. Suck it, Reed. Number 3, hired 2 new employees today to pay super chats for C-Box are expensive. Thank you, Roth. Appreciate it. I don't know what to make. I really don't know what to make of number 1.
They called up Noelve Marte before September 1st.
Yeah.
And if they're going to call him up, I think it would be before September 1st because, well, I mean, I guess it would depend on where the Reds are at. Like, if the Reds lose, fall out of the race completely, then it doesn't matter. But if the Reds are still in the race, they're going to want him up before September 1st because you have to be up before September 1st to be eligible for the playoff roster. And in a playoff roster, you would carry less pitchers too, so you would actually want more hitters. You don't carry 13 pitchers in a playoff series, especially a 3-game playoff series.
I love you because you're thinking about playoff rosters. I'm just thinking about how we can score 4 runs tomorrow. Personally.
Well, I just answered the September 1st question.
I like it. I like it. I like it. There's nothing wrong with it. All right. Any other final parting thoughts on this baseball game and or perhaps the overall perspective of the Cincinnati Reds that we all love so much that we argue with each other in the chat about who's the best hitter we have? Is it Espinal? Is it Benson? Is it Fraley? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I hope before I die, I can live a life where I didn't have to worry about who was better than those 3. That's positive.
Oh, there you go.
I think. Some would say it's negative. That's all I got, Nick. I think we got to go to the minor leagues, which on, what is today? Monday? Mondays are tough.
it's very, very slim on a Monday because all of our DSL players are gone. Both teams lost. The DSL Reds lost 6-4 to the DSL Royals Ventura. And then the DSL Rojos fell 10-9 to the DSL Brewers Gold. One player that did play, Liberts Aponte, had a great day today. 3 for 4, hit his 5th home run, also walked. He's only 17 years old. He's the Reds' number 16 ranked prospect, their top signing last year. He got a 382 on base percentage through his first 33 pro games. So that's really good to see. The other 3 players that we were paying attention to, the DSL Reds, I found out today got transferred to Arizona because they have this new bridge league, apparently, that we don't have any sort of access. We have no stats. We don't know what happens, but Steele Hall is playing in that league, as is all the top DSL prospects. Maybe even Sheng-In Lin is in that league. I don't know. But it's kind of, I guess, a new venture. So I don't really know the ramifications. I guess it's good though that they're over here. I mean, I think it kind of does give them at least a taste of the American life and kind of acclimates them a little bit more. So I guess it's a positive, but I don't really know a whole lot about it. So just an interesting thing that they're doing out in Arizona.
Okay. The only really place you can tune in to hear news and information that low to the ground for MiLB. Chatterbox Reds with Nick Kirby. I did see today you were fired up about a guy that looked like he was 12 years old.
That's what I just talked about. Liberts Aponte.
I know. I'm saying, like, I did see that earlier. That
sometimes I'll be honest. Sometimes I put those tweets out just because I know there's a few people that's going to make angry, and the fact that a 16-year-old prospect is going to make someone angry, I kind of honestly get a little bit of enjoyment out of it at this point. Like, if you're that miserable that it's going to make you angry, I kind of enjoy it. So
yeah, I've worked with you for 3 years, and there's days where I try to figure out how a guy can be so nice, so optimistic, so positive, yet at the same time, in the back of his mind, has some of the most genuine hatred that one could muster. You know what? I think it's a beautiful combination. It's a great gift that you have. My favorite's when you just post pictures of players. That's even better. just really piss the people off. Get them going, But hey, that's why you're internet famous. That's why you're plastered all over the internet. You know how to get to the people. You know how to rile them up. Boy, oh boy, do you know how to get Facebook Fred going too. I'll tell you, that's one of the best traits you have. You know exactly.
I don't
what
check
Facebook
those
Fred's
comments.
looking.
I don't check those comments.
Yeah,
that is not good for anyone's mental health.
Speaking of checking comments, apparently somebody thinks my teeth are white tonight, and there are some other people in the chat that are absolutely pissed that this person keeps on saying it over and over again. Thank you for the compliment, but I also will say, if you say it too many more times, I'm probably gonna have to block you just from the standpoint that perhaps we've run the course on that. But that's here nor there. The chat has its own life, Nick. That's why I bring it up at the end of the show, because it's gonna get cut anyways. All right, we have some who, what, when, where, and why, Nick. The Reds, they play baseball again, and some would say it's a big game because it's another opportunity to win a game, and it's another opportunity for the Padres to possibly lose.
Yeah, the Cubs had not announced their starters literally until like an hour ago. So it will be Shoto Imanaga. Reds have only faced him once. That was last year. He pitched pretty well, 6 2/3, 2 runs. Now he's struggled of late. Last 2 starts, he's given up 5 home runs. Gave up 3 runs over 5 innings against the Brewers, and then 7 runs over 3 innings against the White Sox. Now, right before that, he had been on a dominant stretch. So maybe you're getting him at the right time, maybe you're not. I'm not sure, but he's a lefty, so we'll get to see Andujar in the lineup tomorrow, and a little bit more of the right-handed lineup that I'm not sure if the Reds are better against or worse. I'm not really sure, to be honest, at this point. Maybe this can be what gets Austin Hayes going. Let's hope for that. And then obviously Zach Littell, we'll get to see him make his Reds debut. kind of needs to eat some innings. So, yeah, big game tomorrow. And then you got Andrew Abbott on Wednesday. Andrew Abbott against Cade Horton. Cade Horton's a really good young prospect, but I still like the Reds' chances on Wednesday. So, I mean, man, you get this game tomorrow, you can start dreaming. You could start dreaming, Trace.
What do they got to get to, Nick? What's the magic number?
Magic win number?
No. Do you remember the magic?
You remember five in a row.
We got to do it. Well, listen, that's all this is about. It's a chase. It's a chase to get to 5 in a row. Can you do it or can you not? That's what this is about.
We didn't discuss today.
What's that?
Is that the Reds still have not gotten swept in 2025?
Good point. I have missed out on that bit. There was like, I don't know how many series ago. It was like 5 years ago. I said, you know what? We're going to do that every single time the Reds win a game in a new series. We're just going to put out just one basic post, and we're going to bring it up on the show every single time. Just say, the Cincinnati Reds do not get swept. And I've missed out on that. To be honest. I've failed.
I mean, they're going to be going into mid-August. Like, that is insane. Like,
it is insane. It is absolutely the only real reason that you can even get to a point where that's why this team is where they're at. Like, this team doesn't. Can we be honest? Like, this team doesn't feel like a team if you've watched them every day. That is, what do they have? 5 or 6 over, I think, right now. What are they at right now?
59 and 54, 5 over.
So they're 5 over. It just doesn't feel like a team that's 5 over. And the only reason that is because they've found a way to win an ugly game every single series that you just probably don't feel great about, but they did it. And they found a way to sweep some teams. So you sweep and you don't get swept, and you're allowed to be lousy in the middle a little bit. And that's what the season has been. So we'll see if they can't find a way to win tomorrow. And if they can, then we can get ourselves one step closer to getting those 5 wins in a row. A couple super chats out the door. Going to go to them now. Putrid Talent chimes in again. Says, hashtag justice for Benson. Show coming soon. Hashtag justice for Benson. Show coming soon. Missed it live last night, but man, seeing Nick rant is great because it almost never happens. Hashtag Nutcutter Nation. I could only imagine the rage that went in Nick Kirby's brain when he seen the news. But you know what? The Reds won 3-2. We're going to keep it positive. Keep it positive. Rolf says, I have confirmation that David Bloom's jersey has arrived. I believe they've been working on that for months. But I can't confirm it didn't blow away in Kansas like Dorothy. So there you go. All right, folks. Well, listen, hopefully there's no popping tonight. The new PC's somewhat set up. So, don't want to jinx anything, but we might be on to bigger and better things on this show if we can get past the technological issues that we've had before. Do we have a replay? No, we don't have a replay tonight. But do we have a dunk cam? We do. Does it mean that I'm going to possibly, make this dunk? Maybe. We'll see how it goes. But I just want to say, Nick, anything you have to say before we chime off?
Free Benson. Let's go.
Free Benson. I just want to say thank you for watching the show. I appreciate all of you. If you haven't already, please like the stream. That would be a really, really cool thing for you to do on the way out the door. Listen to the podcast in any form that you'd like. If you like listening on Apple, that's great. If you like listening on Spotify, that's great. If you like listening on Amazon Music, that's great. You can download it anywhere and everywhere. But most importantly, if you could subscribe to it and leave it a 5-star review, that would also be very, very nice of you, and we would very, very much appreciate it. Chatterbox Reds is available anywhere that you get your podcasts, and hopefully this dunk is going to be available to all of you. So just telling you, Nick, our pristine producer here, that there will not be a replay because we just don't have that in the bag for tonight. But you know what we do have? We have the outro. And what we have to do on that outro is turn it on. And then we have to say, well, that outro might be a little too loud. And then we just go try to dunk a basketball. So here we go.